in Nigeria's government structure. That story is also in this day newspaper this morning. Federal government's non-oil revenue rises by 28.7% to 322.93 billion naira. Federal government's non-oil revenue rises by 28.7% to 322.93 billion naira. That story is also in this day newspaper. You might want to grab a copy so you can hear all about it. Tinubu restates significance of June 12th as Democracy Day. Tinubu restates significance of June 12th as Democracy Day. And then court wants EFCC to rearrange Fayose on June 28th. It's not Uhuru for Fayose, I guess. Court wants EFCC to rearrange Fayose on June 12th. And JAM sets 160 as cutoff mark for university admission. JAM sets 160 as cutoff mark for university admission. So all the stories are from this day newspaper. So let's get to the issues proper. And the first one we had was Lawan Gbajabiamila seek reconciliation after victory. Lawan Gbajabiamila seek reconciliation after victory. And while we wait for that story, let me just quickly introduce our guest here. We've got with us Mr. Andrew Ajayi. He's the radio senator, lead advocate, character reformation, Nigerian and public affairs analyst. Good to have you with us, Mr. Ajayi. Happy Democracy Day.
Happy Democracy Day. Good morning, Nigerians.
At least he celebrated Democracy Day. Manuel's one thing. He's not celebrating. That's it celebrated. Okay, Manuel, we've heard you. I've found a partner. Okay, so Lawan Gbajabiamila seek reconciliation after victory. It says here that with their victories yesterday in the elections of presiding officers for the 9th National Assembly, Senate President Ahmed Lawan and House of Representatives Speaker Femi Gbajabiamila have vowed to put the bitterly fought campaigns for the posts behind them and work towards uniting members of the two legislative chambers to present a united front in achieving their legislative agendas. Sources close to the two principal officers told This Day yesterday, shortly after the elections, that their main priorities was to ensure that whatever ill feelings that arose in the process of their emergence as presiding officers were assuaged so that the legislature will present a united front and not be distracted by the kind of crisis that bedeviled the 8th National Assembly, whose presiding officers, Senator Bukola Saraki and Honorable Yakubu Dogara, whose emergence was tainted by accusation of perfidy against them. Earlier in the day, Lawan had defeated his main challenger and a fellow All Progressives Congress APC member, Senator Ali Ndume, by 79 votes to 28 to be selected the Senate President. In the race for Senate Deputy Presidency, Senator Ovie Omar Agege, also of the APC, pulled 68 votes to defeat his predecessor, Senator Ike Kweramadu of the People's Democratic Party, who garnered 37 votes. In the House of Representatives, Gbajabiamila won with 281 votes, and his party mate, Honorable Omar Bago, scored a meager 76 votes. Well, they spoke after everything and said, look, we know the campaigns towards this was difficult, was rough, and it must have caused some sort of divisions, but as we have emerged victors, we would like to cement those divisive lines and present a united front. We will hate to replicate something of the 8th Assembly.
I think it's natural. After the storm comes calm. What else? If they allow everything to be the way the stormy time was for the positions, then things will go awry in the House and, of course, in the Senate. So I think what they will do is what they have stated. They'll rally everybody around and then make peace, reconcile themselves so that there will be one agenda. I think that's just the right thing to do.
All right, then. Okay, what do you think, Andrew Ajayi?
Let me be very honest with you. A lot of Nigerians don't even understand the meaning of contests in democracy. following democratic processes. It is not war. It is not quarrel. It is not a do or die. If you are not voted in and others are voted in, doesn't mean that there should be rancor and acrimony. It is a contest that is people-based. And if it is people-based, it is only natural that people will have the understanding to say, look, today I contested. I was not voted for. Somebody else was voted for. Because I was not voted for, should I now become a cog in the wheel of progress? The answer is no. So we must have that acculturation to know that once we come out as a man or woman trying to contest one position or the other, be it at the federal government, local government, and state government, that if we were not voted for, we are not going to die. The system must not be locked down because we were not voted for. So all this idea of people thinking that because they were not voted for a particular time, therefore the person who was voted for should not be supported, should not be made to go through hell in his or her administration, must be stopped in this our democratic practices that we are in, so that development can come.
Oshomole has something to say though. APC National Chairman Adams Oshomole said his party would look into the activities of recalcitrant members of the National Assembly who contested against the party's choices. Oshomole told National Assembly correspondents after Bajabiamila and Wasi were elected that those who think something was wrong with the ruling party have been humbled by the victory of the party's preferred candidates in the Senate and in the House of Representatives. We have rules. We expect people to obey the rules, and the rules of democracy are clear. When we have taken a position as a party, we expect party members to comply. We will look at the Constitution and we will see what does it say about people who resort to deviant behaviors.
For the very first time since its emergence, I agree with him. This comment is apt. The truth is that a lot of people, I was one of them, thinking that something was wrong with the ruling party. But the result shows that truly they did their homework now, not exactly what happened in 2015. And so, having done their job very well, I also agree with him that the deviants should be cut to size. Because if not, they will continue in every action the party takes. So if there is anything the party has resolved to do to the deviants, they know themselves, of course they should go ahead and do that. They are a political party.
What do you think, Andrew Ajayi? Recalcitrant members will be dealt with.
Yes. You see, I am neither here nor there. Given this Oshomole's statement that you have read, I'm neither here nor there, although he has some quantum of reasonability in what he has said. But at the same time, again, I also would want to say that all human beings have aspirations. All human beings are equal and they have aspirations. What of if there is this option of, okay, these two persons say they want to contest in this our, from our party, and they are eminently qualified. Did they do an internal audit for them to say, okay, let's vote and see who truly the real other members want, other than just the one that maybe the president of the party, the president who is the leader of the party and the chairman of the party are some big wigs. Who is the party? Who is the political party? Is it a few persons? Maybe one or two big the leader, the president, and the chairman of the party? Are they the party? For me, the answer is no. The party is a conglomeration of all members of the political party, where everyone should be given opportunity to understand. Because in the way Nigerian party politics is practiced, it is the president, the so-called leaders, a few of them, and a party chairman that are actually the leaders. And if that is the type of democracy that we are setting for ourselves, I don't think it is really right, because I'm an advocate of, if a man or woman says he or she has an aspiration in any political party or any given thing, allow the person to come and ventilate his or her, a vision and mission, and let the people that are there be the one to judge and select, not just the half few of persons coming to select. That's why I said I'm neither here nor there on that matter.
Okay, we've got Honorable Jerome Honorable Jerome Chukwuemeka Okere, Esquire, is a public affairs analyst and a legal practitioner based in Port Harcourt. Good to have you here with us. Good morning.
Thank you, Annie. Good morning.
All right.
You see, certainly, Annie, yes, democracy, as I claimed. But then I tell you, there will always be managerial staff, administrative staff, who will run whatever is happening in any organization. The political party is just like any organization. Now, those who have been elected, perhaps picked and put in places, and then there's a consensus of all of them that we want this. Yes, those people should be followed. This is a political party. They finally said, whatever you are doing, yes, we know we may have erred here and there, but we want this, we want that. If you are not ready to comply with them, you may go ahead. That's what Okemole is saying. You have finished, but now we want to bring you up to the speed of this our party, because it's our party. And so we are going to discipline you. If you don't want to be there, the next thing will be the gate will be open for you.
All right. What do you think, though, Honorable Jerome?
Well, a political party is an umbrella that houses so many persons for the purpose of winning an election. And every political party is ordinarily supposed to operate within the confines of the Constitution. I want to be guided by the Grundnorm, which is the foundational law, the Constitution of the Republic of Nigeria, 1999 as amended. And I'm aware that Section 40 of that Constitution stipulates that everybody has the right or freedom of association. And then that right in order you protest that your freedom to participate and then to vote and be voted for in every election, including the internal party politics, including the National Assembly, is also part of your freedom. It's a fundamental right. So a political party should, to a great extent, guide its members on the methodology and conduct in which they wish they should operate during any election. But they cannot force them not to participate or not to participate. If you have done your homework very well and there's any dissident, any deviant of that act, it's immaterial because you must win. What they have done is very great. They have won. And if the chairman of the party is waking up to say, because we are going to put punitive measures on others who are deviant, in which way are they deviant?
All right.
How did they deviate? They were working within the confines of the law.
By not towing the line of the party.
That line contradicts.
This is newspaper review. Let's just move on. Sorry. It's newspaper review.
The rules of the House.
Oshomole says that as long as the party had the position, he expected everybody to toe the line and not to present themselves as contestants in that position.
Oshomole is not wholly correct.
That's why he says he's going to resort to the Constitution, the party's Constitution, to
the
deal.
The party Constitution is subject. That's what I'm saying.
Subject
to what?
The Nigerian Constitution.
Yes. And the Nigerian Constitution says what?
Section 1 of.
No, hold on.
Now I'm coming. I will get to that.
I'm trying to get something. Yes. The Nigerian Constitution on its own. How will it affect if a party has a way it plays its rules and the party says, for us here in this group, this is how we'll do it. If we take a position, everybody should agree.
That position is in contradistinction with the fundamental right in your and the person, freedom of right to franchise, right to vote and be voted for. So you cannot circumvent that right by any provision.
All right.
But that's the position of the party.
That's what I'm saying. Section 1 of the Nigerian Constitution is
moving
the
on.
fact that this Constitution is supreme.
Thank you very much.
And binding on all organs of members of the
Honorable Jerome, thank you very much. We're moving forward. Buhari congratulates National Assembly new leaders. You find that in this day newspaper. President Muhammadu Buhari has congratulated the newly elected presiding officers of the 9th National Assembly. Senator Ahmed Lawan from Yobe on Tuesday emerged as the new Senate president when he pulled 79 votes. In a statement by his special advisor on media and publicity, Mr. Femi Adesina, in Abuja on Tuesday, the president also saluted all the national legislators and their political parties for their display of patriotism and non-partisanship before and during the election. Speaking about non-partisanship, I mean, we saw the figures, and it did seem a few people voted outside their party lines. Because for 79, knowing very well that the APC 79.
79. Yes.
And the PDP, the APC had about 60 something. I can't remember. And APC PDP had 44.
Good.
So for them to have more than that number, that means some people from the PDP did vote for them. That would have shown that people voted in this case not necessarily along party lines.
So I don't understand what the president mean by non-partisanship.
That's it. They were
Because-
non-partisan in their votes.
No, they were because APC 60 something, and then eventually what Elawan got was either 79.
Yes.
That means they crossed to PDP.
No.
That means
what the
PDP,
president
PDP
people
cross.
voted.
That's the
That's what the
non-partisanship
president
now.
is saying.
That's what he's meaning.
The president is
That
saying
the
that,
non-PDP people.
He had hoped that APC would have gotten only members of the APC. That having gone beyond that 62 or 64 who are members of APC voted into the House, it means some persons from other political parties, PDP and the rest of them, must have voted for.
How did it happen, Honorable?
No, whichever way. It's not.
Whatever way it happened, it was non-partisan.
Yes.
If I give you my own interpretation,
Whatever way it happened, it was
my own
non-partisan.
interpretation, you are not liking what I'm saying.
No, it's not that. The president is not that.
It's not for me because partisanship, that's what happened. The cross-party lines, that's what the vote stands to show.
No.
The meaning of partisanship means you
You
are-
will have seen everybody
you are in your
staying
party.
by their
Yeah.
field.
You live by your party.
Yes,
Everything
and
about
you
your
die
party is
by
you.
your party.
But the one that said that some PDP members.
He
Now
said
voted.
non-partisanship.
That is
Yes,
correct.
now
Yes,
that's
it's
non-partisan.
What is wrong
It's
with
a
the
matter of
wrong with
semantics.
the-
When they say
I
you are
Non-partisanship means you are
non-partisan,
not
means
being
you are not
partisan.
partisan.
You are not being partisan.
The PDP people
If you are
shouldn't have
being
crossed over.
If you are being partisan,
What he
PDP would have
meant,
voted for
what
PDP.
he meant was that the
That's
PDP members, none will have crossed over. And let's not forget there's
I
a
don't
white,
understand that.
there's
No,
a
no,
white
no, no,
VP.
no.
No, we will tell you because
It's
these
clear.
are some of the dwellings we did. When they say you are a non-partisan person, means you are neither supporting APC nor PDP.
That is it.
That is the meaning
You
of
look
non-partisan.
at the person. You
Yes.
look at the
Let's
The
leave
person
it. Maybe
does
when we
not,
go outside.
Okay.
No, that's the reason you want the
No, but we are
No.
enlightening the public. The public should
See,
know
see,
that
see.
when that word non-partisan is used, we are saying you are not having a political party affiliation. You are not
In that
supporting
particular
the-
action,
Yeah.
perhaps.
And
Yes.
Emmanuel, the word partisan is derived from party.
Yeah, that you are a
There's a
political
more-
party
there's a-
person.
You don't need to explain to me. I understand the
Fine.
derivative.
When you are not-
In this
partisan.
case, Emmanuel is trying to hint on the fact that APC members fully voted along the lines of their party.
Yes,
Right?
all APC people.
And so that would have been partisan.
Yes,
Because
only.
they stuck by that rule
Yes.
and voted within their party lines.
Yes.
But we saw PDP
More votes,
crossover.
more votes
I know. I
added
said
to
what
it.
Emmanuel is
the
saying.
vote
What
was
Emmanuel
by
is
secret-
saying is the fact that
Listen to what I
APC voted along her party line.
Yes, it is.
So where is the non-partisanship
Yeah,
there?
PDP
But what we're trying to say, Emmanuel, is the non-partisanship comes from where the PDP crossed over
to support Lawan.
APC.
So the
That's the
president was
non-partisanship
correct
there.
when he said
And if
non-partisan.
Lawan had gotten a maximum of the
60.
total number of APC members in the
Yeah.
House, this your logic can fly.
Yeah.
That voting was by secret voting.
Yes.
And the implication that you do not know those
Who voted for and
that.
against.
But for the fact that it was beyond
The
a particular
total
number of
number.
a party.
Yeah.
So the language, the word
It's
of the
correct.
president
It's
is
correct.
in order.
It's
It's
correct.
completely in order because they have gotten beyond 62
Because some
of
APC
their
people may have voted
voted
for.
otherwise.
Yes.
So
Alright.
it's secret ballot
Okay.
and nobody can
Obasanjo condemns
exactly.
imbalance in Nigeria's governance
This
structure.
requires hardball.
That okay.
I tell you.
That's in this day newspaper though. This one, Obasanjo condemns imbalance in Nigeria's governance structure. Says here that with yesterday's election of the Senate President, Senator Ahmed Lawan, former President Olusegun Obasanjo has decried the imbalance in the governance structure of the country, saying President Muhammadu Buhari's administration was driving the country towards disaster and instability. Obasanjo, who spoke with Premium Times, raised the alarm that the Senate President Lawan, the acting Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Tanko Muhammad, and President Muhammadu Buhari from what he called were from the core north. He said giving the key positions in the country to a particular region did not reflect geographical diversity. The Senate President is from the northeast, the acting Chief Justice of Nigeria is from the northeast, the President of the country is from the northwest. They are all from what we call the core north. How can you have that kind of arrangement and be absolutely insensitive to the lack of geographical diversity, he queried. According to him, President Buhari's led government is driving Nigeria towards disaster and instability. The former president noted that although the country has made considerable progress since the new dispensation began in 1999, the pace at which it's currently moving shows the country may be inching towards disaster and instability. I think we have no choice but to be on the path for sustainable development. The progress we're making may be questionable. Is it fast enough? Is it steady enough? Is it stable enough? Are we taking 2 steps forward and 1 step backward or 1 step sideways? You can question that. But we have no choice but to be on the path for sustainable development. Any other thing will be a disaster. In fact, the pace at which we're going now is tending more and more towards disaster and instability and unsustainability. The problem is that we are just not doing what we should be doing. Nobody has that confidence. And we cannot develop Nigeria without having that confidence in our economy, both for domestic investors and foreign investors, he explained. Manuel Ndukwe.
I agree with Chief Obasanjo, A to Z, in terms of the positioning of the officers of federal government. It looks like the APC establishment doesn't think enough in terms of balance of the positions. When you talk about the acting chief judge, the president himself, now Lawan, like Chief Obasanjo narrated there, it's in that way. Whether everything is very rosy in this country, not minding how the imbalance of these positions, the fact remains that this particular sentiment will be smoldering in the minds of Nigerians. It will be absolutely difficult to quench it. But it seems the authorities of this administration don't think that far to them, because I am one person who refused to believe what people always tell you, anywhere anybody could come from, because I know very well that there is no section of this nation where you cannot get anybody who is also very much knowledgeable and can do everything and deliver. Now, if you have all those people, how will the other side be feeling? Even within the North, how will they be feeling, all of them? I'm not even stepping out of that. So for me, there is nothing anybody can do again, just like Chief Obasanjo is hinting at. They have come up, they've emerged. Cooperate with them if you can.
All right. What do you think, Andrea Jai?
Well, cast your mind back to the May 29 discussion we had here, where I was trying to propound my own theory of zoning and, whatever. It's still the same thing I want to say here now. Before I came down to come and join you in the studio, I was actually hearing when you started. That same thing you were reading now was what I was actually reading at the Premium Times. And Obasanjo, in his comments there, is actually an older man, also speaking like Andrew Ajayi, because when I went through that thing, I said, yes, this is actually what we have been saying. Because even the Foundation for Character Reformation, that I'm the founder and initiator, we are, as one of our motto, we are talking about living in peaceful harmony, transparent democracy. Living in peaceful harmony means to talk about the unity and total integration of this country in terms of socio-cultural and even political. Therefore, I want to use this opportunity to say out there that this current government, of this APC-led government that came since 2015 and is spanning through 2023, is the poorest contributor to Nigeria's national unity and integration in terms of socio-culturally and even politically, because it is clear. I had told you the last time I was here, I said, how can we be in a political system of over 250 ethnic groups of people, sons and daughters, a lot of them professors, doctorate degree holder, master's degree holder, knowledgeable in one field or the other, okay, home and abroad, both in diaspora. Then when it is now time to talk about political office sharing, and we say we are federal system of government, we are now having a president coming from the north, and the Senate president is also coming from the north. In fact, this and when you look at the other ministerial position that they did the last time, and also the military setup and all that, you will be wondering to say what type of contribution in politics is this current administration. If you look at the administration so far organized in Nigeria, you will see that this current one, as far as I'm concerned, and I'm a thinking Nigerian, philosophical Nigerian, right, I am saying this is the poorest contribution to our democratic growth. Because in the southern Nigeria, in the eastern Nigeria, we have men and women who are more than even capable. And yet they are nowhere to be found. And
thank you very much.
We live in Nigeria.
Let's move forward. Honorable Jerome Jukwe Emeka Okere, let's get your thoughts too.
Well, in as much as I have some agreement, consonant with some of the statements made by Chief Obasanjo, I'm not completely Hukla and Senka in that agreement. The president of the Republic of Nigeria is from the
northwest.
The vice president is from the southwest. The acting CJN is a provision of the Constitution. He emerged as a result of the law as the most senior JSC, Justice of Supreme Court, as at that time, as of now, that he is occupying that position. It is not that you can't leave, you can't jump him and give it to another person because he's the most senior person, and the law provides that he should assume. But I had thought in my thinking, in my horizon, that the senior president would have come to southern Nigeria. That is a southwest, southeast, or south. That was my thinking. When that decision by the party was taken to still zone it to southeast, northeast, I was worried because ordinarily speaking, that was a very strong. It should have gone to the southeast, southeast or south. Now the speaker should have come to south or southeast.
Yes.
Because the vice president is from southwest.
Exactly.
Now, when you are speaking of the north, you also need to also argue that why would the vice president come from the southwest, and then the speaker is also being zoned to southwest. And now every other position given to the southeast and the south are secondary positions. So the party would have thought it wise to zone the Senate president to southeast, a major geopolitical zone.
Exactly.
Then the speaker to southwest, or bring the Senate or the president to southwest, south, and then take the speaker to southeast. So anybody could have been deputy. Keeping the Senate president in southeast when the president is from southwest, and then by emergence, by inevitable circumstance, the RTCJN is also from the southeast, the
northeast.
Is an issue to be questioned. It's critical to the survival of democracy. If there is any. It's critical to the survival of this civilian government we are running.
Okay.
And then I think that it is not late because the principle of federal character also is stipulated in the constitution. So why I say it's not late is because there are several appointments that are yet to be made. The ministerial positions that will be coming, the president should rise and wake up and ensure that this imbalance, this structural imbalance in terms of appointment, is corrected during his appointments, other appointments that can cushion the defect effectively. Because every geopolitical zone have people who are competent, people who are capable, people who have the capacity to administer in all spheres of government office.
Okay, we got you there.
I just pray
we got
that
you
we
there.
are seeing. I just pray.
Obasanjo condemns imbalance in Nigeria's governance structure. That story is in this day newspaper. Moving on, there's another story here in this day newspaper. Federal government's non-oil revenues increased by 28.7%. Yes, 28.7% to 322.93 billion naira. Federal government's non-oil revenue rises by 28.7% to 322.93 billion naira. This is higher than the 251.01 billion recorded the previous month, but at 322.93 billion or 40.6% of total revenue, the non-oil revenue was below the provisional monthly budget estimate of 466.91 billion by 30.8%. The Central Bank of Nigeria disclosed this in its monthly economic report for April 2019 posted on its website. But it explained that the lower collection relative to the provisional monthly budget estimate was due to the shortfalls in corporate tax, VAT, Federal Government of Nigeria Independent Revenue and Education Tax. According to the report, at 795.31 billion, the estimated federally collected revenue gross in April 2019 fell below the provisional monthly budget estimate of 1.107 trillion by 28.2%. However, it exceeded the receipt of 767.90 billion naira in the preceding month by 3.6%. The decrease relative to the provisional monthly budget estimate was attributed to a shortfall in both oil and non-oil revenue. Also, oil receipts at 472.38 billion or 59.4% of total revenue was below both the provisional monthly budget estimate and the preceding month's receipt of 516.88 by 22.2% and 8.6% respectively. So Emmanuel, this are the estimates given out by Central Bank here. Non-oil revenue did rise from last month to 322.93. It was 251 the preceding month. But they said even at that,
the earnings,
yes, from non-oil revenue.
Good.
But they said even at that, it was it was shorter. It fell short of the estimates they had budgeted for that. Estimates have been put at 466.91 billion, but they made 322.93 billion. Though that is still higher than the preceding month of 251.
Yeah, I think whatever is the rise will rank very much even with any nation. But the fact remains that since it fell short of the budgeted figure or expected figure, it still means, of course, that if the reasons for the shortfall is as a result of what the country itself can control, the country should swing into controlling them so as to go to exactly as expected. But if the reasons are such that, for instance, this issue of oil and all that, if your production is fully as expected, and then the international market, you can't control that, I don't think anybody can do anything about it. And so for me, whichever way it goes, now there was a rise from a lower position, is a very much welcome development.
All right. What do you think, Ajay?
Well, my lovely sister, I don't, all this issue of oil rising up in terms of costs, and at the end of the day, we don't see it impact in the lives of Nigerians. It's not really making me to appreciate the entity and people that run the entity called government, because I want to see a rising oil production finances of Nigeria that will impact into the lives of the young Nigerians, children of Nigerians, that people are struggling with their hard-earned wealth to send them to schools. They will do youth service, they will not have jobs to do. So whatever thing they are talking, whether we are rising or not rising, especially when they say we are rising, let them use these resources to begin to behave like China and Japan, where we will be doing industrialization and manufacturing for our young people to be working. There are many youths outside there in Nigeria that are just like a time bomb, keg of gunpowder, because they have finished school, some dropped out, they don't have anything to do. They don't have anything to do. We continue to say, go and find something to do, go and find something to do. How would they find something to do when they have government who didn't organize for them in terms of social economic development? And you said that they should go and find something to do. So if the money, like, let it increase to 40-something billion or $1 trillion, let them bring it and be using to organize our youth in this country so that we all can be at peace.
All right, then we got your thoughts. Thank you, Honorable Jerome Chukwuemeka.
What to a great extent is a good news to hear that the non-oil sector is increasing. But if you look at the rate of increase, it's a far cry, because if you compare this with other Western countries, most of their income and earnings are majorly from the non-oil sector. So it means that nothing much is being done. Like Ajay is saying, if we have industrialized, if we have built textile industries, if we have investment in mechanized agriculture, if we delve into so many areas that are non-oil oriented, we will be able to see this increase. Now, this increase should also translate to affecting the well-being of the citizenry. Does it affect the per capita income? What is the per capita income per person? Is it within the standard rate of the international system? Can it measure if you compare it with the Western world? So these are the things we need to juxtapose in making this analysis. But the government should deem it necessary to invest more in the non-oil sector, because if you do not invest, how do you estimate? Your estimation should be backed up by investment, because it's through investment that you can begin to talk of production, especially in the non-productive oil sector. So we need to see that rise, and it needs to translate into tangible benefits on the individuals of this country, so that we can begin to say, look, what we earn, what an individual earns as a particular income in a day, in a month, or per annum, is that can make him make a living, so that the life can be meaningful and worth existence in this country.
Okay, well, joining us is Dr. Kenneth Nweke. He is a political analyst and associate professor of political science of the Ignatius Adjure University of Education, Rumolum in Port Harcourt. Good to have you here with us.
Good to have you also.
Okay.
Good morning.
After 1 million.
So let's have your thoughts on this here, on the non-oil sector.
Yeah, for me, it's appreciable as far as we in comparative terms. Even if this figure clearly shows that it didn't meet the expected outcome for this period. But at least hearing that the non-oil sector is making appreciable efforts in revenue drive in this manner, should ordinarily give us hope, that beyond oil, because in advanced climes, people are thinking beyond oil, and here we are struggling. And states are not making efforts, in productive ventures and all that, and so it clearly means that the federal government is up, in raising revenue from the non-oil sector. But like other speakers have said, it's not about raising money, because when you talked about the appreciable income from the non-oil sector, what came to my mind was individual pockets were being appreciated, not the generality of the people, the general well-being of the people. So if we have appreciable income coming from the non-oil sector, so it should ordinarily translate in the well-being of the people rather than individual pockets being swollen. And so immediately you said that, what came to my mind was that last time that this time that it came, it fell short of the expected. So meaning that as much as those who would have shared this time around, they didn't get more, rather than the people themselves who ought to be part and parcel of this commonwealth.
All right, then we got your thoughts on that too. Thank you. Moving on from that story, we have a caption that read: federal government's non-oil revenue rises by 28.7% to 322.93 billion. And let's get to another story where Tinubu restates I know it had to do with Democracy Day on June 12th. The significance of Democracy Day on June 12th. Tinubu restates significance of June 12th as Democracy Day. The national leader of the All Progressives Congress, APC, Bola Tinubu, has appraised Nigeria's democratic evolution, saying as important as it is, May 29 does not carry the weight of significance attached to June 12th in the country's democracy. This is even as he called on Nigerians to support the second term of President Muhammadu Buhari, saying the administration was investing massively in the renewal and expansion of infrastructure and social intervention programs aimed at uplifting the vast majority of Nigerians from dehumanizing poverty, political instability, and insecurity. In a special message he personally signed on to mark June 12th as Nigeria's new Democracy Day, the former Lagos State governor said the country's commemoration of May 29 of every year since the democratic restoration of 1999 was only a day of handover of power from the military regime to the elected civilian administration. As important as it certainly is, May 29th does not carry the weight of significance that June 12th does in Nigeria's democratic evolution. May 29 is at best an arbitrary date at which the military chose to hand over the reins of power to an elected civilian government in 1999, he said. In the statement titled June 12, The Truth That Sets Democracy Free in Our Land, the APC leader said observing May 29 as Democracy Day delinked the country's democratic experience since 1999 from the protracted and bitter struggle against military dictatorship from June 12, 1993, till the forced exit of the military in 1999. According to him, without those who stoutly stood on June 12 and sacrificed life, limb, freedom, economic ruin, psychological devastation, and more in the battle against tyranny, there would not most certainly have been any May 29, 1999 handover to commemorate. He urged Nigerians not to take democracy enjoyed today for granted or to do anything to threaten its existence, explaining that it was not won on a peaceful and comfortable platter of gold.
I certainly agree with him in terms of comparison between June 12 and May 29. May 29 is a May Day that the military chose to hand over power to the civilians in 1999. But as far as its significance is concerned in terms of democratic relationship, I think June 12 fixed the mood better than May 29. But when we talk about all the things that Tinubu mentioned, I don't know exactly whether even if the June 12 that is being celebrated, whether it will bring any good to Nigeria or whatever. But in terms of comparing it, which one feels better for Democracy Day is June 12. Because perhaps because that was the day that they won every effort to push out the military seemed to have yielded fruit, but the military junta still said, no, you see, you can't push us out. So because of that, it wears the insignia of democracy more than May 29. But I don't know why the previous leader didn't even do what Buhari has done in terms of marking this day as Democracy Day.
All right, then. Mr. Andrejai.
Of course, I was alive, strong, at least a growing young man that time when this issue of 1993 June 12 happened, where Abiola Babagana Kingibe won elections and Humphrey Nwosu was held in the Jigula not to announce that result. And we had what is called also Abiola, where a lot of people, now died traveling, running because they thought that the country was, in chaos already. Of course, May 29th, even when we were trying to round off our university education in the University of Benin that time, we knew that that May 29th was not what Democracy Day should be, that it should be June 12. Even the Secretariat of our Student Union government then is named June 12. So that Buhari, President Buhari has now come to, do what is in the consciousness of almost everyone who is conscious and kicking. For us, it's a welcome development. That is what leadership should be. Leadership should look at the yearnings and aspiration of the people and make it come to life, make it come to bear so that the people will continue to be happy. Because the essence of government and leadership is nothing more than bringing happiness to the greatest number of the people. But for me, Democracy Day, that should now be this June 12th that we are seated here today. What should be the itinerary to talk about this June 12th? Is it for us to just say, okay, June 12th, sit at home, let everybody not go to work, and what have you? Because for me, the way we are practicing this democracy so far, I am feeling that we are getting backward instead of getting faster and forward, because the intellectual content of what democratic practices truly are not being allowed to come to bear in the consciousness of politicians and Nigerians. So we must emphasize the intellectual content of democracy so that on the Democracy Day, we will now have people who are getting better understanding of democratic practices.
Okay, Andrew Jai, what's your thoughts too on that? Honorable Jerome Chukwuemeka.
Well, in several fora, I quarrel when this word democracy is being used, and then the situation of Nigeria as a democratic country. I've always been in antithesis with this statement. Yeah, there is a presumption that in June 12, 1993, attempts were made to, democratize, and that period witnessed to a great extent the participation of the people freely to ensure that at least the people voted the candidate of their choice. If we begin to think of what democracy is, and if I'm in agreement with Abraham Lincoln as a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. And if you take a further derivation of that definition, government of the people means that you must come from the people. Government by the people means that you must be elected. You do not just only come from that area. You must be elected by the people who are to benefit. And then when you're elected, you represent them. You work for them. That is government of the people, by the people, and for the people. But what we have witnessed in Nigeria is just one element of that democratic principle. Perhaps the person who is to be elected is a Nigerian, and then the modus operandi of that election is what I do not know. So it has been that of a dictatorship, that of despotism, all kinds of rigging and fraudulent acts during elections. But that on June 12, 1993, attempts were made by Nigerians, genuine attempts. I remember, like Ajayi said, that was in University of Benin then, and Professor Momoroye was the chairman Center for Democracy, which was a great participant of that period, who was given that opportunity to organize and then look into democratic principles in order to ensure that Nigeria is in tandem with democratic ideas. When that incident happened, he came to University of Benin to address some of us, because that was when I met him, because before he left, he was appointed, he left at the meeting. When he came back, he came to tell us how he was chased out of that office by the then military junta to ensure that June 12 did not work. Humphrey Nwosu suffered greatly.
All right.
He forced himself towards announcing the declaration of the election, but he was forced out of that place.
Okay.
So to a great extent, if the president has declared June 12 as Democracy Day, it didn't just end there. What is the president doing to ensure that those things that make democracy work are operative in
the
Nigeria?
tenants are there. Okay, then.
Electoral reforms.
All right, then let's move on quickly because of time. Dr. Kenneth Moki, let's have your thoughts here.
Well, I beg to differ a bit here. For me, with recent developments, like the last May 29, that the president remained mute, according to Nigerians. You know, he didn't address the nation, probably attempting to do that today, or hopefully to do that today. And so that brought a lot of controversy. For me, that happened in 1993. And so it took quite some years for the military. In fact, it was out of the benevolence of the man at the helm of affairs, at the time, to hand over power to to civilians in 1999. For me, it was act of benevolence from the man, and so I so respect him. And so for 29th, a new development for me is that we even when you don't declare May 29 from now onwards, as Democracy Day or a public holiday, states would choose to declare. And so what have you achieved at the end of the day? For me, it is time that the National Assembly, the 9th National Assembly, look into that, section of the Nigerian Constitution, if it's possible, to, do a surgical, a major surgery on the timing, even if it's just for 2 weeks, a few days, to elongate, a present one administration, so that, a Democracy Day handover date can be done on June 12th, rather than, having it just on May 29th, and then the next one you have a Democracy Day. It doesn't.
They don't. There's going to be a handover date still on the May 29th.
And you will not declare a public holiday.
No, there's no public holiday.
And so, but what I'm saying is that you will see that states across will have liberty, to declare public holidays, because it is within their own purview to say their workers do not come to work.
Just for information, it's already a law. I think there is a law saying June 12th.
There's a law.
The news update comes up next. We'll come back.
Been done.
It's not a law, it's a bill.
Every hour, when the big stories break, depend on our 24-hour news team to bring you the latest. Today, 95.1 FM.
Today, 95.1 FM. Port Harcourt. News update.
Good morning. Here's the news update on your premium talk radio today, 95.1 FM. I am Annie Abdul Salam. In accordance with recently enactment June 12 bill into law as Democracy Day, the federal government has declared today as public holiday to commemorate the maiden National Democracy Day. World leaders have been invited for the ceremony, where President Muhammadu Buhari is expected to deliver his inaugural speech, originally billed for May 29th, when he was sworn in for a second term in office, but was postponed. The president will also use the occasion to speak to Nigerians and world leaders on how he intends to pilot the affairs of the country in the next 4 years. The Presidential Election Petition Tribunal sitting in Abuja will tomorrow, Thursday, hear the application of the People's Democratic Party to compel the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, to surrender and allow access to the server of the February 23rd presidential election. The five-member panel of justices presided by Justice Muhammad Garba fixed a date after counsel to the PDP and Atiku Bakar Levi Uzoku notified the tribunal of the application dated May 8. INEC had announced President Buhari winner of the election with 15 million votes, with Atiku polling 11 million. But Atiku claimed the results from the INEC server showed that PDP won the presidential election with 18,000 votes as against 16,000 votes by the APC. River State Governor Nyesom Wike has declared that the major challenges that characterized the 2019 general elections would have been averted if President Muhammadu Buhari had assented to the amended Electoral Act. Speaking during a courtesy visit by the political team from the British High Commission at the Government House in Port Harcourt, Governor Wike said the amended Electoral Act will legitimize the card reader and strengthen the process of result collation. The governor said that with the card reader given legal teeth, it will play a key role in the results that will emerge and discourage violence. In a statement issued by his special assistant on electronic media, Simeon Nwakodu, the governor was quoted to have said the amended Electoral Act, when signed into law, will restore confidence in the electoral system while also calling for the demilitarization of the nation's democracy. Justice John Soho of the Federal High Court in Abuja has declined a request from the Nigerian Governors Forum to restrain the Nigerian Financial Intelligence Unit, NFIU, from implementing the guidelines set to monitor spending of local government councils. Justice Soho refused to grant the interlocutory injunction sought by the governors pending the determination of a suit. The judge said since it was a constitutional matter, there was no need to bother with interlocutory injunctions. State governors approached the court in their bid to stop the implementation of the guidelines issued by the Nigerian Financial Intelligence Unit, directing banks not to allow transactions on states and local government joint accounts. The guidelines took effect from June 1st this year. And on the foreign scene, the UN Secretary Council has renewed the green light to the European Union mission to combat migrant trafficking and arms smuggling off Libya's coast amid calls for action to cut the flow of weapons. The Council voted unanimously to extend authorization of Operation Sophia until June 2020, more than 2 months after the forces of Khalifa Haftar launched an offensive to seize Tripoli, seat of the UN-recognized government. Germany told the Council that arms supplies delivered in violation of a UN embargo were the main hurdle in the way of an end to the fighting in Tripoli and a return to political talks. Hundreds of people have died and tens of thousands displaced in the offensive on Tripoli, and diplomatic efforts to return to political talks have been deadlocked. And that wraps the news update here on Today 95.1 FM. Thank you for listening. Have a lovely morning.
This is Today 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt, voice of the people. Port Harcourt, are you ready? Today 95.1 FM, the voice of the people.
It's exactly 6 minutes after 9, and you're listening to Today 95.1 FM. I have a representative from Odibola. Good morning. Promise, good to have you here.
Yeah, good morning, Madam Annie.
Go ahead.
Okay, good morning. Our valued listeners, my name is Promise. I'm the senior consultant to Odibola Properties Limited. As at on Monday, I was here briefing us on why you should invest in real estate, why it is important to invest in real estate. And on Monday, I noted three key reasons why you should invest in real estate. And this morning, I'm also going to be giving us further 3 more reasons why we should invest in real estate. One of them is you can build equity for the future. Equity is an asset that is part of your net worth. Now, investing in real estate, you can build equity for the future. What does that mean? It means that the investment you're doing, like in those areas that are developing, places where you can acquire property as low as 1 million, 1.5 as the case may be. Now, imagine you investing in such situations and such environment, and those areas are prone for development. Imagine what will become of such places in the next 5 years. That is, you are building equity for the future. Then number 2, it can provide cash flow for retirement. It can be a means of cash flow for you for retirement. Now, a lot of persons will tell you when you go to talk to some persons concerning investment in real estate, for the fact that they have huge bulk of money in their account and in their wallets, when you talk to them about investment in real estate, they tell you, no, I don't want to do that. They will give you flimsy excuses, good reasons. Yeah, it will sound good, but the truth of the matter is that the money will not keep on flowing the way it is flowing today in future. So you should prepare for a rainy day. I've had incidences where you see somebody as a former manager of a big company, a bank manager, name them, share, and so many of them after retirement, it's like they can no longer enjoy that standard of living they were enjoying before. Reason because they didn't invest. But now I'm telling you that you can invest in real estate. It can be a means of providing cash inflow for you during retirement. Then number 3, it can be an alternative means of saving for a college education. Now you can imagine you having 3 kids that are at the age of 2, 3, and 4, as the case may be. Now you can imagine you investing, you have some bulk of money now. This money will not remain there forever. No, you can imagine you going to this developing environment and buying 10 plot of land for your children. Now that property, you keep them for the next 10 years. Let's say when they are due for college education or university, imagine what will become of such kind of investment. Now that's the keynote you should remember why investing in real estate. Now the Odibola property, we are always at the doorpost trying to bring to your knowledge the reason why you should invest and opportunity for investment for you. Now I will indulge you to take advantage of one of our promo that is ongoing now. We call it Odibola Pay Small promo. This Pay Small promo is going on our Skyview Layout Phase 2. Skyview Layout Phase 2 is located at Omagwa, Igrutale, Omagwa. Now, this place is a place that is fast developing. People are already living beside the layout. Now, we have approval for this layout from Greater Port Harcourt City. You can buy. Now, you can pay as low as 350. Just down payment of 350. The balance of 600,000, you spread it for a period of 4 years. Now, what that does is that within this period of you paying your initial payment, you take possession, you own the property, you start developing, do anything you want to do on the land. We'll give you your survey plan. We'll hand over your survey plan to them. When you round up your payment, we'll also give you your deed of conveyance. Now, what we are also doing is that you have opportunity to take advantage of what we are doing now. We have property in different locations. Now, for those of us that are interested, for those persons that want to invest, that want to reach out to us, our office is located at Nyenwelin Stream Layout, Tombia Extension, GRA Phase 3. Just ask for the Odibola House. When you get there, they will take you straight to our office. Now, you can also reach our office on this number on 080-666-25700. Let me take the number again, 080-666-25700. Or you call this other number, 070-123-64510. Or you reach me directly on this other number, which is 070-300-40 173. Now, for those persons that are very interested, you want to invest, you know what investment is all about, those are the persons we are interested in. All you can meet us in our office at Nyenwelin Stream Layout, Tombia Extension, GRA Phase 3. Come and pick your interest form. We have inspection this morning by 10 o'clock. Seeing is believing. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.
You too.
Radio has never been this good. Today, 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt.
Talk radio. I listen to a lot of talk radio.
95.1 FM.
Port Harcourt, are you ready? Today, 95.1 FM, the voice of the people.
Insecurity has become a common factor in our general language within the Nigerian space, no doubt. Not only has it become a threat, it has begun taking diverse dimension we cannot ignore, where cultism spreads and breeds evil in its every wake. A solution we seek, a desire to stop the trend is imminent. And as your number one talk station, we have taken the challenge to champion this discourse and prefer solutions. Join us at our Anti-Cultism Summit on the 6th of July at 9 a.m. Be part of the solution. We're good to have you here. Representatives from Daily Income, Engineer Offer Monday. He's the MD CEO Funny Vision Nigeria Limited. Good to have you here.
Good morning.
Mr. Gabriel Hero, entrepreneur.
Thank you. Good morning.
Engineer Victor Etin. Good to have all of you here.
Good morning.
For the sake of the so many who have not heard this, and I'll be surprised if they haven't, but for the sake of those who haven't, what is Daily Income Stores?
Okay, for those who are tuning in for the first time to this frequency, Daily Income Store is a physical store here. Of course, that all you need to do is to walk into this store to do your own shopping. Of course, and then after your shopping, you have to drop your account details. Why do you have to do that? So that as other people are shopping from that same store, you'll be getting daily income or daily alert. And the good news is that this store sells things that we cannot do without. For example, you are hearing me right now. You cannot stay without not brushing your mouth. You're going to use chewing stick or toothpaste. You cannot stay without not taking your bait. You're going to use solid soap, liquid soap, or solid soap. That means human being daily needs and want cannot be satisfied. All these things are available in Daily Income Stores. Your normal daily needs and want, things you cannot do without. So all you need to do is to walk into Daily Income Stores only once in a year to do your shopping. Then you drop your account details. As other people are shopping after you from the same store, you'll be getting daily income. We are already 13 years in over 100 countries. We are already 7 years in Nigeria. And we are telling you we are holding a big business event because some people don't know about this, that are holding a training to show them how things works. And of course, if you are already hearing me and you're looking forward to have an extra income, looking forward to have a project, for financing a project, you need money to actually take it to a level. We can show you this opportunity. You go to Daily Income Stores, you do your shopping. Of course, you drop your account details. As other people are shopping after you, you'll be getting Daily Income. So if you're interested to be part of this event, we're going to give you details more soon.
What makes this store different? What's the innovation? What's special about Daily Income Stores?
Honestly speaking, I've been saying this over and over again. What makes us different is this. Traditionally, walk into any store, what you do is that you give money in exchange for goods or services. That's what you do traditionally. And of course, you walk out of the store. Transaction has been completed. But in Daily Income Stores, you don't just give money in exchange for goods or services. The company will give you an opportunity to drop your account details. That's what makes us different. That's what makes us unique. That's what makes us quite called that advancement in technology. That is the innovation about our business.
All right then. So shop and then drop your account details. And as people shop after you
in that same particular store, not all the stores.
That's okay. Not all the stores.
Not all the stores.
Okay.
There's a particular store you go to do your shopping. This store is already 7 years in Nigeria.
Mr. Gabriel Hero, how real is this? How true is this? Has this happened to you before?
For me, my experience with Daily Income Stores is phenomenal. And that's because as a business coach and a mentor, I'm always very keen to know the root of everything I'm into, especially when I look at the relationship between myself and the people I'm mentoring. So at Daily Income Stores, I've come to realize that for every budding entrepreneur, they have the necessary business skill that's required of anybody who wants to go out there and make money. And you're not just making money. In today's world, there's what we call sustainable development. And for you to have a sustainable development, you have to think of a sustainable source of income. And Daily Income Source is one store that gives you that guarantee that you can actually make money on a sustainable basis. For example, my personal testimony, when I went to Daily Income Source for the very first time.
Where did you hear them on radio, just like this?
Yeah, I was driving. I was driving to my normal business day. I heard them talking about Daily Income Source over the radio. So I picked interest. I got the number. I text. I think that day it was text something. Enjoy, yes. So I was keen to really enjoy the ride with Daily Income Source. So I got there. I sat down. I listened to everything. Their seminar presentation was awesome, and the guys were very nice with me as a person. So at the end, I asked a few questions, and they answered me adequately. Then I shopped, and after shopping, they asked me to drop my account number, which was something I've never seen before. And I thought, is this for? I said, okay, let me just drop the account number. So I did. I left the account number with them. Got their product home. Their products were very awesome. The beverages, everything were wonderful. Share with you, my neighbors, and they loved